Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We're taking the EZA Super Strike Renewed EZA Mecha Frieza. We are showcasing him here today. However, it's a little bit different. We are indeed in red zone, which of course I don't usually do. Now the reason we are in red zone is for two things. His passive is mainly consisted of him getting ki, which is he does have a lot of potential. However, that is a major flaw. One of his parts of the passive is to do with lowering enemies' attack and defense, where he'll get an extra additional attack and defense plus 50%. So I thought, why not bring him into an event or a stage where you can kind of consistently do that, of course, until the final phase where you face Turles by himself. So that's why we're here. In terms of a rotation, this is probably as good as we're going to get. Currently, of course, on the LR Final Form Cooler's 200% lead, which he is on. And that is having Prodigies active, which is, what, attack plus 10%. Universe's Most Malevolent is also, I think, attack plus 15%. And then we have Revival, which is Ki plus 2. His best linking partner on this team is actually the AGL Golden Frieza. So in terms of a link set, contextually, this is as good as it's going to get. However, as a link set in general, because it is a Super Strike unit, and also partially a Mecha Frieza, it's not the best set. We are missing out on Mechanical Menaces, which is only, I think, Ki and damage reduction. We're missing out, of course, on Super Strike, but I did bring the Kid Vegeta for that. And we're missing out on Bombardment, and there's hardly any good units in the game that actually have that link, but that's another reason why the Super Strike Kid Vegeta is with us, so we can get those two attack links off as well with him. So that's why he's here. But in terms of an actual rotation, going with AGL Golden Frieza, it's actually not bad. If you were to use him as an alternative, which some of you may do because it is a free-to-play unit, you can rainbow out for free. And as I said, he does have a lot of potential. However, he is very, very orb and ki dependent. So if you're not getting good, orb placement, or you're not bringing orb changes or orb changing items, some rotations may be a little bit of a struggle for him, especially being on main rotation. But we do also have the cooler support, so we are starting with 132k attack stat prior to even pick up an orb, and 115k defense also prior to picking up an orb. Now, I feel like this guy was lowered. Yeah, yeah, okay. So we need to attack you, because his attack and defense is lowered, so he will get the extra attack and defense plus 50% when the target enemy is in attack down or defense down. Oh no, it's not even defense down, it's when enemies in attack down stats. So we do need to attack him. So I'll start off with you. Of course, we are getting the extra attack and defense plus 50% support from Cooler as well. We'll attack you. We're getting 7 orbs. So of course, he doesn't get anything at the start of turn. So now that we've got 7 orbs, we are getting attack and defense plus 100% when our ki is 6 or more. However, we are missing out on the rest of it. We do get an additional attack and defense plus 100% when ki is 9 or more, and we then get an additional attack and defense plus 50% when ki is 12 or more. So as I said, a unit that is very, very, very dependent on orb placement and ki, which naturally, unless you have an orb change with you and a good one on this team, which I don't think they have, you're probably hardly going to be seeing this Frieza pick up 12 ki and potentially even 9 ki. So that is a bit of a shame, but if he does get all of that, that's a lot of potential, because if the enemy's also in attack and defense, or sorry, attack down status, and he gets the extra 50% attack and defense, that's 2 sets of 100% and 2 sets of attack and defense plus 50%, which gives him 300% attack and defense on top of the fact he's going to raise his defense by 30% for a turn as well, which means defensively, he's actually in a pretty good spot. And for a free-to-play unit, going to be putting up some very good numbers on Super. And not to mention, because he is rainbowed up for free, he could get an additional Super off and raise his defense by 30% again. And as I said, for a free-to-play unit, he's going to be in a very, very good spot defensively once you Super, especially if you do get that additional off. And to top it off, he does also lower enemies' attack as well. So if he does get an additional, he can basically lower the enemy's attack and supply himself with the additional attack and defense plus 50% when the enemy's in attack down status. So after picking up some orbs with the support, we do have 192k attacks and 115k defense pre-super. We'll then just super attack this guy. Or no, I won't even super attack with Cooler. That's fine. So we don't have Super Strike active, Bombardment. We only have 1 set of attack and defense plus 100%. And with support, it's 5.4 mil. Now, considering he actually did get an additional as well, and if he supered, he would raise his defense by 30% again. But he is tanking double digits. Now, granted, this is an early stage of Red Zone, of course, because we're facing Turles. It's one of the first stages of the movie edition of things. But considering this is an free-to-play EZA Super Strike unit, I'm not gonna lie, tanking double digits off a supering once is still quite impressive. I'm not gonna lie, it is still quite impressive that he's tanking double digits, even an attack that was type advantage against him. As I said, it is one of the earlier ones, but to me that's still impressive. That is still impressive. And then also on that turn, he was getting additional defense plus 100% because all the allies attacking in the same turn were Wicked Bloodline category allies. So, as I said, once he supers, especially with an additional, if you are on a rotation filled with Wicked Bloodline category allies and you do get all that key, defensively this Mecha Frieza is in a very, very good spot, considering he doesn't have guard, doesn't have damage reduction, doesn't have dodge, and is a free-to-play EZA. So if you get all of those things checked off, if you get the full key plus 12, if the enemy's attack is lowered and you get the extra 50% attack and defense, and all the allies attacking in the same turn are Wicked Bloodline category allies, as I've already said, that's some pretty good decent damage output, but more so defensively, he's in a very, very good spot. It's just because, as I said, because of how key dependent and orb heavy this unit is, that's a major flaw to be that reliant on, because as I said, how often are you really going to be getting that extra 12 key or that 12 key to get the additional attack and defense plus 50%, even 9 key, unless you purposely bring orb changing items, which I don't want to do because it's not realistic, because realistically you're not going to be doing that for this Frieza. And how realistic are you going to be getting 9 key unless orb placement is very generous to you? So there is that. So there's no one on this rotation who's going to be lowering attack this time, which is a shame, unless this guy gets an additional, so hopefully for the best. But we do now have Super Strike and Bombardment active. So no support and no orb, we're starting with 113k attack stat and 46k defense. I'm not gonna lie, the orb placement this turn isn't looking that good. Let's drop these ones down. We're only getting 5. We're not getting any extra attack and defense. That did not drop the way I thought it was gonna drop. Yeah, 164k attack stat, still 46k defense. Yeah, that did not drop the way I thought it was gonna drop. I mean, he does have the extra 2 links active. 4 mil. I mean, it's not bad considering we didn't get the extra. Considering we didn't even get key plus 6 or 6 or more key to get the attack and defense plus 100%. 4 mil's not bad. 4 mil is not bad at all, and he still tanked really well considering he has type disadvantage on this phase. So yeah, I have to say that actually wasn't bad from him. It's not bad damage output considering we didn't get any of the additional buffs from getting 6 or more key, 9 or more key, or 12 or more key. And he still tanked really well given the same context. This Frieza's actually pretty good. He's actually very, very good. If you can get him all the orbs he needs, he's actually really, really good. It's just being that orb and key dependent, it's just not realistic for him to be getting all that key in a run, especially in a realistic environment. You're not going to be bringing key supplying items. The closest you'll get to it is an orb changer, which on this 200% lead, I'm pretty sure there isn't one. So realistically, as I said, you're probably not going to be seeing the 12 key and probably hardly seeing the 9 key unless orb placement is very, very generous to you. But even so without it, considering when you consider the fact that in harder content, a lot of the time you're going to keep the EZA transforming cooler untransformed to stack, you're always going to have that extra attack and defense plus 50% buff, which definitely helps him out on some of the key that he's going to be missing and the buffs he's also going to be missing as well. But considering he is missing the majority of that, 4 mil is not bad for a free-to-play unit. And defensively, he's tanking really well, even though it is quite an early red zone stage, so they're not doing too much damage, but it's still impressive. And the potential he has there, if you do get all the attack and defense buffs from all the key, and then factor in the fact he's going to super attack and potentially additional super and raise his defense by 30% twice, and even the support from Cooler, then I would have to say he's actually very, very impressive. It's just, as I said, it's a major flaw to have to be that key dependent when there's no way to really give it to him realistically unless you forcefully use or forcibly use orb changing items. So I'm going to have this as the last rotation. I know we haven't been able to really give him the key he needs to help him pop off, and we can no longer lower attack on this phase. As I said, it's kind of a realistic showing. Like, even here, we've given him a lot of key spheres, but we can only just about manage 6. We can't even get the extra attack and defense plus 100% with 9. And unfortunately, I don't know the complete in and outs workings in terms of maths when it comes to Dokkan to really tell what his, you know, ideal and prominent attack stat and defense stats would be once he supers and gets all those orbs. But we'll give him this last rotation, but he's actually performed really well, and I said the potential is there. If you can get him the majority of key, he is definitely going to pop off with good damage output for a free-to-play unit. Very good defensively again, especially with that additional super if it comes off. There's also the support from EZA transforming cooler in a realistic sense. 3.1 isn't that good, but again, we're not getting the extra attack and defense plus 50%. But how much is he going to tank here? Do you know what? That's not bad. I mean, he does have type advantage, but he super attacked once. He's not getting the extra attack and defense plus 50% because you can't lower Turles' attack in this phase. He only got an extra attack and defense plus 100% there, and only raised his defense by 30%. So that's actually not bad. The only thing I missed is he does also have a high chance of performing a critical hit when all allies attacking in the same turn. Our resurrected warrior category allies. However, it's another case of how often are you actually going to run this guy realistically, considering his link set isn't the best. Like, he does have a good linking partner with the links he has in Gold and Frieza, but realistically, if you are going to be using this guy, are you going to be running him on main rotation with only 3 links active? And really, realistically, where are you going to be running him, considering he's very orb dependent, his links aren't the best, so you're most likely not going to put him on main rotation, or you're probably going to use an alternative. But in terms of the actual unit itself, he's actually pretty good. He's actually pretty good. If you can get him all the key, he can actually pop off. But even without it, he's still done pretty well and he impressed me. But do let me know what you think down in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. And peace.